there's a single starbit in Super Mario Galaxy that is impossible to collect. And today, we're going to be talking about why. Collectible objects in Mario games will always draw out our curiosity. Even if the item is completely useless, we still gotta collect it. Whether it be out-of-bounds beta gold coins in Luigi's Mansion, or the coin inside the impossible Goomba in Super Mario 64. We want them. So when it comes to another Mario currency, it should be no surprise that we're saddling up to get our hands on something so worthless, it can be expelled with the click of a button. But it isn't wealth that we were after here, it's the adventure. So let's saddle up and talk about one dinky starbit floating out in space, because that's the beauty of YouTube. Our destination just might be the rarest single collectible in Super Mario Galaxy. January 4th, 2020 at midnight. The popular discovery blog SuperMarioBroth drops an interesting tweet showcasing a strange starbit that is unreachable. People start memeing on me, which is to be expected, but here we are over a year later and the prophecy has been fulfilled. The tweet reads as follows, quote, Boo's Boneyard Galaxy in Super Mario Galaxy consists of a main cave area, and the small bone planetoid Mario starts off on. Very far away from that planet, surrounded by empty space, is a single unattainable starbit. End quote. Accompanied with this are two images showing off the starbit that were sourced from Jasper's NoClip website. But there's a problem with this, and CaptainByte, who is extremely well versed in the Super Mario Galaxy games, was quick to point it out. So NoClip as a whole doesn't always show all the objects. Sometimes they're split up between different scenarios, so if you're looking at a universal layered object, while surrounding objects are grouped to a zone that loads in a different star, or after a specific action, then you're not going to see anything. So while at a glance it looks like a starbit is way out in space, while this is true, it is certainly nearby other objects. When Mario activates the pipe in Boo's Boneyard Galaxy that is at the start of the level, it actually teleports him super far out into space to race the spooky speedster. When this pipe action occurs, this zone for this particular race loads in, and thus all objects assigned to that zone populate with it. So it turns out this starbit is just outside of this map area. In fact, after Mario comes out of the pipe into the 2D racing area, the starbit is almost exactly right above Mario, except it's about a distance away equal to 70 to 80 Mario stacked on top of each other. But can we collect it? So starbits are nice because they can be collected at any distance with a cursor. Simply point at it and it's yours. But that's why this is problematic. For starters, the raceway interior is a 2D side-scrolling section. Your character is sandwiched between two walls, and can only move left and right. To make matters worse, the game restricts your D-pad use. Without being able to use a D-pad, that means we can't enter the first-person view. If we were in first-person view, there would be a chance that we could look up at the starbit, and despite us looking straight up at the ceiling, our cursor would still be able to collect it. Of course, that's not the case here. But even if we could look up at the starbit, it wouldn't solve our issue. To simulate this, if we enable the flying hack in this section, it does restore 3D camera movement, but we're still too far away from the object for it to load in. This is why if you look out into deep space from the start of the map, you won't see the starbit either. After a set distance, objects unload to keep the game running smoothly. So can you actually collect the impossible starbit? Well, no, you can't. At least not with normal means, but we're going to do it anyways. Back when I first attempted to find this starbit in early 2020, the main problem I had was I need to fly out into deep space with a flying hack to locate it. And this wasn't a simple task because the skybox contained nothing. Because no objects are loaded in, that means it's hard to pinpoint where your destination should be without getting lost. But when I was checking out this time, I realized I had made a mistake. So after realizing I couldn't look up in the racing area, I actually jumped back into the pipe and warped across the galaxy again to the start of the level. This simple action is what changed everything. So while everything unloaded, there was one thing that did not. The wind that blows in the tunnels failed to unload during the pipe transition. So way out in space, I could see the wind blowing. And I mean way out there. This is a long flight, and in terms of distance, I'm actually pretty sure it's behind the skybox. Of course, the skybox is tethered to your camera, but if it wasn't, we'd be going past it. On my way to the starbit though, I discovered something super odd. And in fact, it ended up being a new discovery altogether. As I got closer to the wind in the middle of the void, I saw a white speck way out in the background. To be honest, I thought this was the starbit, but when I went to check it out, I was surprised to see this wasn't the case. It was a triangle way off in the distance, far beyond my final destination. Turns out, this was actually something called Death Promenade 2D Planet Low. This was discovered by CaptainByte in the files, but its existence within the game had never been seen up until this point. Quote, this model is intended to be the low-poly model for the 2D race planet in Boo's Boneyard Galaxy. The race planet only spawns when the warp pipe connecting it and the starting planet is entered, meaning a low-poly model is never necessary. Strangely enough, no actual model is present in the archive, but materials and a texture named pink exist for the model." End quote. It's kind of interesting because this reminds me of a solid white square I found way out of bounds in Luigi's Mansion. Remnants of something that never saw the light of day. But I digress. Using the wind tunnels, we can make our way over to the planet area. When we get close enough, the skybox loads in around the world, and all the assets begin to populate in. It's a bit weird to navigate because there are two giant invisible walls that normally sandwich in this 2D section. But if we go around them, we can climb higher and higher above the planet. And there, sitting in total isolation, is the starbit we've been looking for. Too far of range to spawn in normally, this might be one of the very first attempts to actually have it load an engine. Kind of ironic that we spent 1,200 starbits to unlock the stage, just to spend our time going after one single starbit. But it's about the journey, man. We collect this starbit, bringing our total count to 1. And although it wasn't obtained legitly, we've added the rarest starbit to our collection. To make the journey faster, we actually added a floating platform up here so we can warp here instantly. And with that, we can chill alongside what might be the rarest single isolated collectible in Super Mario Galaxy. Thanks for joining me on this odd adventure, everyone, and I'll see you in another strange video really soon. Cheers!